Hello, my nostalgia friends. Looking back at the music of the 60s again. I was going through my grammar school yearbook. Yes, grammar school. And you're now going to be able to figure out my exact age, but this probably tells you a lot. So in the year 1963, our class picked our favorite song of the year. It was kind of unanimous, and now that I look back at it, I think it was a good choice for when we made the decision. So anyway, I'm going to, however, give you two versions of the song, and it turns out I personally liked the second version, which was later in the 1960s. The first version is a much slower version by an artist who had some hits, was a nice guy. His name was Steve Lawrence. And the second version, which was pretty different than the original, was by a group. So let me start with listening to our friend Steve Lawrence play and sing the song as we voted for it as our #1 song of the year in our yearbook. By the way, I was so lucky around this time, the girl who I really, really liked allowed me to carry her books home from school. As most of you know that are kind of this age, that was a big deal, and I enjoyed it.
I'm not supposed to be alone with you. I know that your lips are sweet, but our lips must never meet. I belong to someone else, and I must be true. Oh, go away, little girl. Go away, little girl. It's hurting me more each minute that you delay.
Let me stop here for a moment and mention a couple of things. One is this song was written by Jerry Goffin and Carole King. And it was right after they had had a hit with Take Good Care of My Baby. When the song was written, it was actually not given to Steve Lawrence. It was given to Bobby Vee to be the singer. However, Don Kirshner, who was very influential in the record business at that time, after hearing the song, thought this was written and made for Steve Lawrence. So the song went to Steve Lawrence. And of course, the song became #1, not just in my class, but #1 here across the U.S. So, but another thing that's really interesting, this song was actually in the top 20 3 different times under 3 different artists. I think it may be the only time that happened. I'm not 100% on that, but I think I'm right. So you're going to hear the second version, which I really like, by The Happenings later on. And the third version is by Donny Osmond. A lot of other people covered this song, of course, and beautiful sounds from the Letterman and others. But let's finish this up with Steve Lawrence, and then we'll cut to our good friends, The Happening.
When you are near me like this, you're much too hard to resist. So go away, little girl, before I beg you to stay. Go away, please don't stay. It'll never work out when you are near me like this. You're much too hard to resist. stay. Go away.
Well, I'm hoping you liked that Steve Lawrence version of Go Away Little Girl. I couldn't find a live version that was good enough, so that's why I used the 45, including little scratches when you put the needle down. So again, hope you enjoyed it. I remember, and our class did like that song. So beautiful. Thank you, Steve Lawrence. Now, let's move to Paterson, New Jersey. What could be happening there? Well, in Paterson, New Jersey, there was this group in the early 60s named the Four Graduates. And I think you're going to tell me you never heard of them. And you're probably right, I'm not sure. Because eventually, later on in the 60s, about 4 or 5 years later, they were the Happenings. And the Happenings were a band that went to college campuses, places like that, and they did a lot of cover songs. And one of them, you may remember, was See You in September, was a cover of a late 50s hit. I think it was a late 50s hit. That's not what we're going to do now. We're going to play Go Away Little Girl by the Happenings. The lead singer was Bob Miranda, and he's still touring. As best I know, he's still touring. And I want you to watch this because we've done some Frankie Valli things, and you could see that Frankie Valli was so casual in how he developed and sang falsetto. Others sang falsetto, but not as easily as Frankie Valli did. So, here we go. I want you to listen to Go Away Little Girl by the Happenings. I believe this was 1966. I was still in high school, and I really liked this song. Now that you've heard both versions of the song, one by Steve Lawrence, solo, which was really just nice with some beautiful background music to it, by the way. You have to remember the background music. And then later on in the 60s, as music was changing by the mid-60s quite a bit, as you know, the Happenings came along and did a cover of Go Away Little Girl. Now, which one do you like? Which one do I like? I don't like when people say both. However, I think at this time, I still like the Happenings version, though Steve Lawrence was a little bit more pure and such. But when I was in grammar school, I loved the version by Steve Lawrence. So I've given you everything, and you decide. Now, a little hint of things to come. Think of the word groovy, and we're going to stick in the mid-60s for a group, and see if you remember this song.